Greetings RC friends, welcome to Props and Wheels. Here I have another two-channel airplane to review, and the weather outside is nice. It is calm winds around 5 miles per hour. It wasn't like yesterday when it was gusting to 14. So I'm excited to open it up, set it up and go out to the park to fly before the sun sets. So let's get started. I'm excited because this is also a scale airliner airplane. Look at that. Airbus 380 or A380, they don't want to call it Airbus due to some licensing issues. But this is from Park10 Toys, and I ordered this one from AliExpress.com, and just with one battery, the basic simple setup, no two batteries, nothing. It just had an option for having the wingtips like red. I selected that one. It was $25.13 with shipping to 11 and tax $157. The total was $28.81. So if you watched the previous video, you may be wondering, well, isn't this exactly same one that you just reviewed? No, that one is this one. And this one is probably going to be a little bigger because look, even the box is bigger. I just reviewed this one yesterday, and I just wanted to bring it here just to see the differences. And this turned out to be a bud. It flew great in that on that windy day. So now this little smaller box has a lot to prove. Hopefully it will live up to the other one and be able to compete, because I love having multiple great airplanes reviewed back to back, so I can recommend you more options. What is good, what is not. Well, in terms of the manual, it's really nice and glossy. A lot of diagrams inside. So everything looks nice. And no, it's not the same, it's much smaller. As you see, this is significantly smaller than the one I just reviewed yesterday. And this was heavy. This flew great, but you know, when it was going downwind, it had trouble gaining altitude. It was losing a lot of altitude. I'm assuming that it needed a stronger motor, but it flew great. So let's take everything out of this box. Controller. I'm assuming this is also 2.4 gigahertz controller. The fuselage, and just one single bag of items. And immediately I'm going to start charging the battery because I'm looking forward to going outside and testing this out. Oh, it actually came with 2 batteries. Did I order it with 2 batteries? I don't remember. Maybe I did. I have to check my order. And these are 300 milliamp hour batteries, 3.7 volts 1S, with the more standard connectors. I think these are called Molex connectors. So let's get the charging going. And this little charger can handle 2 batteries at the same time. No, I'm sorry, 4 batteries at the same time. So it's a very nice charger. I already have one of these, or 2 of these actually. But when companies include these kind of things, it makes me happy, like 2 batteries. And in yesterday's it had a lot of stuff, spare parts, like multiple sets of propellers, multiple sets of these little wheels and extra screws. It was really well packaged. Alright, I'm going to start the charging. of both batteries, because if it is good I may use both batteries. So let's see, let's connect one here on this side, and the light came on, and the other one over here. I'm assuming once it's charged it's going to turn off, the light's going to turn off. And so this is the battery bay on the bottom. They gave us 2 screws, and it's not even 2 screws, just it's held by 1 screw over here. You can see here, this goes in like this, and then the whole wing is held by a tab and one of these screws, and they gave us 2 screws, so if you lose one, there's a spare. I like spares of these tiny screws because it's easy to lose them, especially if you're doing something on the field and then you drop it. Even on this carpet you drop it and good luck finding it. These are tiny. They provided this little handy dandy Phillips screwdriver. There's not much leverage, so thin, but it's a good thing because you don't want to over tighten it. I mean, we want to make it tight but not over tighten it, because since it's going into metal, into plastic, if you strip it then you have to tape it down or glue it down, which wouldn't be ideal. Still turning, and I think at one point, see, it's already tight, so I don't want to over tighten it. I think this feels good. The little antenna is over here. The battery hatch. The connector, let's take it out. And I'm going to put in the landing gear. By the way, the main landing gear is like 2 pieces, so each slide on like one over here, one on the other side, like this. They look a little funky. Did I put them right? Why do they look like that? Is it bent? Not bent correctly, maybe? Oh, who cares? I don't care, because probably I'll be unlaunching it all the time. If I ever have to do a proper takeoff on the ground roll, probably I may have to straighten them, because right now it is not good the way it looks, like crooked. And it's called Air Car A380. These are all both A380s, but look at the size difference. Let me try to step back. So this is kind of putting the tail down because I haven't put the battery on, and the battery belongs to the kind of like a center towards the front, where it's going to put a little bit of more weight and keep it standing on all its landing gear. So yeah, in terms of size, there's a definite difference between those two. And just 2 spare propellers and 1 spare screw. Let's put these back. And how many batteries and what type does this controller need? There's another screw holding it in place. It actually takes 3 AAA batteries, so I need to I brought AA batteries, so I need to grab those. The power button was pressed, so I have to, over here actually. This is not even a button, I think. It looks like a button, but it's not. The on-off switch is on the bottom. Let's close and screw in the battery hatch. All good. I'm going to separate one of the batteries that's charging and start testing this out. Let's connect the battery. Sometimes you have to put the battery inside before connecting because otherwise it doesn't fit. But this time it does fit. And there's quite a bit room inside, so it closed easily. And I love about these 2-channel airplanes, most of them come with an on-off switch. So let's turn the switch on. That little red light is blinking. And turn on. Still not sitting flat. Maybe it's something to do with the location of these funky little... Okay, here we go. Now it just sit on this landing gear. Funky landing gear. Turn this one on and the throttle goes all the way up. Beeps. Down, beeps again, longer beep, and this red light stopped blinking. And we have power. So proportional throttle control, it's not on off. I haven't seen any that's on off anyway, except really old ones. Let's see if the turn control or bank control is proportional or on off. I'm happy to say and confirm that this is proportional. Excellent. Let's give a little bit of throttle and do you hear the pitch change when I'm moving the stick? That's perfect. And what else do we have here? I think these buttons should be trimmed. So these two round buttons are trimmed, right and left trim. So it's banking always right. You can give a couple clicks of left adjustment, left trim adjustment. And there is an LED light switch. Of course, it didn't come with the lights on. I have some light strips that I purchased from Banggood for about $15, 5 sets, like $3 each, and they are good for C-17 transport aircraft. One of my favorite 2-channel airplanes, one of my buds, and I'm sure that it may fit this one as well. I just have to find a way of rerouting it so that the strips are actually on the bottom, not on top, and there's not much place to put the strips on actually on the wing, so I may have to put it maybe in the front, because I don't want to put it on top. Then when you're flying at night and it's usually above where you are in terms of altitude, you won't be able to see the lights. Anyway, I will decide if this is really a bud. I will figure out a way to put the lights on in order to make this a night flying airplane. Is there a high-low rates? This doesn't show anything for high-low rate switch. There's a switch here, doesn't make any sound. It's just beeping. I'm not sure, so let's see. I'm giving full throttle. It's not making any changes. Let's see. No. So I have to probably test it up in the air if this switch does anything to it. But it doesn't seem to have a high-low rate. Does it matter? Maybe not. I'm not sure. It depends how proportional this is, if it is covering the whole range of turns. High rates usually don't work well. It didn't work well with this one because it was losing too much altitude. With most of the planes, if you are really turning full right or full left with the high rates, it bends so much that it starts losing altitude, and you have to compensate quite a bit by increasing the throttle so it stays on the same altitude. Usually it's difficult. But when you are at tight space and you need to engage the high throttle so that you maybe do not want to hit an obstacle, a building, or go into a tree, then it becomes a lifesaver. You just switch to high rates and then do a full turn and then bring it back especially when it's windy. We will see on the field, but for now, let's turn this off and get the other battery out and connect it back to the charger. And of course, the battery of this one is smaller than this one. This is using, I believe, if I remember correctly, 450 or 500 milliamp hour battery. And these are only 300 milliamp hour batteries. It's connected, and now, after the batteries are charged, we are good to go for the maiden flight, hopefully in the park tonight. I hope you enjoyed watching this first part of this review. Please stay tuned for the second part. Stay safe and healthy. Hope to see you on the next video. Take care. Bye bye.